I'm going to go through three things. So the first two is assignments that me and Rick have made for you guys. The first one is casework that you will do. It's a case that is written by McKinsey and Company, and it's about how to approach valuing high growth businesses. And at least from some of the comments that that some of the students had, they are in the class to learn how to value these businesses and also understand the different stages of funding. So that will be a good start to kind of dig into that landscape a little bit. The second part I'll introduce is the term project, where you're all gonna pretend that you're operators in a business, and you're gonna position that business for investors. So you're going to think about when is the next fundraising, how should I sell in the business, how attractive is the business, and then create a presentation and pretend that presentation is for investors, but it's for the rest of the class and me and Rick. And I'm sure everybody will learn a great deal from those companies. And the third part is that I'll go through a presentation on my experiences in managing and investing in internet-enabled marketplace businesses. It's been an explosion the last 2 decades about businesses that has been built online in marketplace structures. Uber is one of them, Airbnb is another one, and there's a whole host of these. And I'll try to go through some of the heuristics so that you'll be able to recognize if a marketplace can be attractive or if it is not that attractive. So I'll start with the first one, which is the valuation case on an open table. Rick, can you just confirm that you see my Canvas screen?
I do not.
What do you see then?
I'm seeing the regular screen here. That may be a function of me.
Yeah, I can see the Canvas screen.
Okay, perfect. So I'm seeing what I'm sharing. That's always a benefit. So the valuation case is in Canvas under assignments. So if we click into it, there we go. It gives you a bit of a description about what the assignment tries to accomplish. So it's an introduction to thinking about and recognizing heuristics of evaluating online marketplace businesses, how they start and grow, and what its future potential is, as well as the fundraising side of it. So this case is going to be helpful towards the term project because you'll use many of the same methods in that project. And I also think it's a fun case because the open table obviously did quite well, and some of you may or may not have used it recently, and it was funded in '98, so it's 22 years old. So it's just a fun study. So the assignment is due 1 week from today, before class, and me and Rick are going to have breakout sessions in Zoom, so you guys can get an opportunity to come in and try to discuss the case with us a little bit. We can ask questions, you can ask questions, and we can go through the questions that you've responded to collectively. So that's the assignment. It's worth mentioning that you're supposed to do this assignment in the same group as the term project, and Rick will assign those. I think was it groups of 3, Rick?
I believe that we set up. Yeah, I believe we've decided on groups of 3.
Yes.
And
Okay.
We'll actually spend some time after Jens is done here. We'll spend some time looking at the formation of those groups together.
Yeah, great. Okay. So there's 2 resources in here that will help you in this assignment. And the first one is this document. It's a case that is pulled from a book called Valuation. It's written by McKinsey and Company, and they use this case to show practically and contextually how you would approach valuing a high growth business. And internet businesses fit that description and are most of the time high growth companies. So it will give you, as you read through it, you'll find that it kind of peels back the different ways of analyzing the market, looking at the potential, then going down to the business and seeing if it can be a profitable business over time, and suggest how you can place it and value it towards the financial markets, being investors. So that's the first resource. And then the other resource is actually the review questions. And it's the text is basically the same as the text in Canvas. I put a little smiley face on there since it's May term, and that you should be happy when you try to learn this. And it's 10 questions. So 10 questions, it requires you to answer with 1 to 2 paragraphs each. You can do more if you want to, but it's not required. You can do calculations if you want to, but it's not required. So just like a normal May term, you can make as much out of it as you want. But the requirement is 1 to 2 paragraphs per question. Any questions on that case?
Are we allowed to cooperate for those 10 questions?
Yes, so that's a good question. So you will be in the same groups as you will be for the term project, and Rick will assign those, and you're supposed to work together. And we've decided that you're supposed to work together because it makes you reach out to the other students in the class, since you're all on video conferencing, obviously. It can be help towards being a bit more social in that way. And it also fuels the discussion and probably gives better answers as well. So you're supposed to do it in a group. Thanks for that question. And anything else? All right. So things seems to be clear on that casework. It's due 1 week from today before class, and just feel free to start working on it whenever. I think it should be a fun and very good introductory case to understanding marketplace businesses. Okay, over to that second part, which is the term project. And it's in here. So it's called Accessing Capital Markets. And you can see that it has 4 parts. And you're also supposed to do it in 4 parts. So the first week, which is also due on May 18th, 1 week from today, that's midnight, not before class, is that you're supposed to select the business and describe the market and competition for it. We'll come back into the framework later. And then on the May 25, you'll explain the business model. And then on June 1st, the presentation and the report is due. That also includes 2 more parts on value creation and investment attractiveness. And then on June 1st and June 3rd, you'll do presentations on your company. And I think we've picked a list of 13 companies for you to choose from, and all of those are super interesting, and it should be very educational both for me and Rick and the rest of the class. So I'm very excited for those. If we go deeper into the term project, I made a framework that you guys can use, and so you understand a bit more how we have divided up the project in 4 phases. So we talked about the groups. It's going to be groups of 3. It's going to be the same as the open table case. Groups cannot choose the same business. We decided that because we want the presentations to be about different businesses, so we all learn more in that way. So the group should pretend that they're founders or operators of the business and try to prove the attractiveness of the business for the next capital event. So that might be a seed event, it might be a venture capital event with a Series A or Series B, or it might even be an IPO. depending on the company that you choose. And then focus the work by structuring it into 4 sections. And we're spreading those throughout the term, so it's less work every week, and you kind of get going already this week, and it's not that much each time. We talked about the final deliverable. It's on June 1st, and the presentations will be 20 to 30 minutes, including Q&A. So go through it and see how you're doing on time beforehand. So you make sure you make the most out of that time. Okay, so the 4 sections is market and competition, and then the business value creation and growth strategy and investment details. So 1 week from today, you'll do the market and competition section. So I included some questions in here that are very useful to start working from. So by responding to these questions, you'll kind of peel back and understand the business a bit more, and you make sure you get all those points covered. That's the same with the other sections. These are not exhaustive, so you may, if you feel like it, include more information as you go along. So it's just a good framework to help you work through the project. So when I was evaluating investments at Telenor previously, we used to include a page like this in the very beginning of the document as an executive summary. So it's very easy for a person in an investment committee or somebody, your leader or somebody who are going to make the decision, to see a page like this, and instead of the questions, they have all the answers and all the facts in there. So they have to look at one page, get familiar with the business, and then they can dig deeper into the document with a bit of background. So that would be a good way for you as well to maybe structure the first page on your report or deliverable. You don't have to, but you can. Any questions so far? Okay, good. Rick, are you good?
I am.
Okay, great. So let's go into the next slide. So we compiled a list of businesses that you all can choose from. What you see on this page is that all of these businesses is an online marketplace business. So a business that is built online, trying to aggregate demand and supply for a certain product or service. They're divided up in different stages. So it's everything from seed, venture capital, private equity, and potentially M&A, to a pre-IPO section and one public company, which is Etsy. So take a look at this list, take up your browser, go into the website, see which company you like more and want to find more, and you want to examine deeper, and then select that business. So that should be exciting. What you also will see when you go through this list is that there's so many different industries. So marketplaces aren't just selling bikes or old sports equipment or cars. It's so much more. For instance, OutSchool is an educational marketplace that is at the seed stage, and it's an online marketplace for K-12 classes, and it creates learning experience outside of school. So if you're a teacher, you go there and you offer classes, and if you're a student, you go there to learn classes. So that's a really interesting one, considering the last period. And then you have everything from that to Airbnb, which everybody is familiar with, which is renting out vacation homes or apartments. And then you have HomeTree, which is a marketplace to book service on boilers, heaters, and other home care. So it's like a janitor coming to your house replacing stuff. So there's a lot in here. So go through it and try to choose the business you want to find more, the one you find more attractive. Okay, any questions on this list?
Yeah, I have a question. When we're doing these cases and projects, how should we, or do we factor in coronavirus at all? Because, like, for example, Airbnb has a lot of coronavirus news, and it would change certainly preparations for funding if we were to include that. So are we just gonna pretend like coronavirus isn't here, or are we gonna try to factor it in somehow?
That's a really good question, Jaden. And I would say, since you're pretending that you're the founder or operator of the business, you should pretend that you're also you also has that role at the current time. And that means that you have to take COVID-19 into consideration. And that's also a little curveball in this project, that the macro of the market sometimes changes in drastic ways. And I think that could also be an exciting way to think about where this business might move in the future. You mentioned Airbnb. It's, demand falling out of that business model really quickly. And will it ever come back? Who knows? But if somebody picks this business and goes through Airbnb, I'm sure they will learn a whole lot about the business and the potential of it to come back. Rick, do you have any comment on that? I think they should include COVID-19.
Well, I agree.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, the effect of the virus on some of these businesses is devastating, and the effect on others has been exhilarating.
Exactly. Like OutSchool that I mentioned, kids can't go to school, isolated. It makes parents and children maybe try to find courses online. So that business will have a great tailwind, while Airbnb might not. It's pros and cons across all these businesses. The thing the thing I forgot to mention is that even though you are pretending that you're the operator or founder of the business, you'll also learn a great deal about the investment side. So some people who are great operators, they're really great at doing things and taking decisions real fast, right? Investors are better at dealing with people, looking at strategies and understanding where markets are going. So it's two different skill sets, and you may find which one you like the most by doing this project, or at least you get a sign maybe what you like the most. So that's it's not only operation we're focusing on. Okay, the last slide is a template for a 10-slide pitch deck that you can use as you work through the project and towards your final presentation. You can use this template to build that presentation to best capture the interest of an investor. Each group is limited to 10 slides, so you have to be selective on the information you include on each one. And the graphics, the wording, the text and everything, and what you want to include on the slide and what you want to say out loud to give the presentation flow. So I'm not going to go through all of these points that you can read through yourself. It has a lot of the same questions that were in the initial framework, but it kind of builds the presentation up where it focuses on the business and market first, why the business offers something valuable, either a product or a service. And then it goes deeper into the business model, competition, what the marketing plan is and customer acquisition plan, and the management team and the financial projections, and towards the end, a bit more on the financial side and the exit strategy. So that's the term project. Feel free to reach out to me with any questions on any of these topics or practical ones. And I can be helpful in that way. When Rick is announcing the groups, try to pick a marketplace as soon as you can, so you can just start working on it. Maybe already after this class is over.
Yeah, in fact, I'll give a little bit of structure to that in just a few minutes, Jens.
Great, thanks. So that's the quick run through of the term project. Is there any questions?